You alluded to St. Paul and talking about what he meant when he stated his suffering completes what was lacking in Christ's suffering. I can't now find the exact quote. This is from Mary, but I think it's in 1 Corinthians. Now, you kind of alluded to the fact of what that is. Explain it further. And also, how do we deal with that with maybe some of the Bible Christians who see that as a contradiction?
Yeah, good. That comes actually from Paul's letter to the Colossians, chapter 1. And in that verse, Paul is actually, I know what the Greek sounds a little strange, or the translation into English from the Greek sounds a little strange because it almost sounds like Paul's saying that something was ontologically lacking. That's something, we would interpret in English. But actually, the Greek doesn't mean that at all. What it really means is that, Christ left some space for us, right? Christ left some room for us. So instead of thinking it as an ontological lack, and of course there is no ontological lack, right? That's an infinite act of love that comes from an infinite act of self-sacrifice. So Paul certainly doesn't mean there's anything lacking there. What Paul means is that in the sufferings of Christ, Christ left some room for us to do something. He didn't, do it all for us. He basically allows us to play a part in the entire history of salvation. He allows us to play a part in actually strengthening the mystical body, right? And so our free actions and our self-sacrifice, He's left a part for us to play, and that part is really important. It's the ultimate dignity of our lives. So what he's trying to say, if I could just loosely translate that Colossians passage, is, I rejoice in my suffering for you because Christ gave me the opportunity. Christ left some room in the whole order of salvation for me to make a difference, to strengthen the church with my suffering. I consider this such a noble enterprise, such a great use of my whole life, that I abandon myself to it and I give myself over to it. So the more sufferings I have, the more I rejoice, and I truly rejoice. I'm not just saying that. I rejoice because I know I'm making a difference to the church. I rejoice because I know that people are better off for my suffering offered up, my love offered up in imitation of Christ. So that's what he really means. But that word lacking is a very unfortunate translation, but it just means leaving space, leaving room for us to do something.